Hi, hello. It does feel like it's been a while for me, but I'm Kraken. We're back with Toonkind. I'm doing so good. It's going to be a good time. This is... Oh, hi. Speaking of hi, who's with me?
Hi, everybody. My name's Whis. I'm here to be a menace.
Here to be a menace. I'm here to be smooth. Smooth talker. But on that note, we open to it is a lovely day in Halloween Town, and Craigory is just a regular guy on a regular day. Uh, Probably just on his way back from somewhere. He's out and about is the important part.
Oh dear. All right. Cool. Well, I'm going to get you to roll some dice right off the bat. Roll a
Of
perception.
course, of course. We could have seen that coming. Okay. That's a solid 14.
14. All right. All right.
14. Good job on remembering the dice commands. It has been a moment.
That's all right. It's January. You can be excused. All right.
New year, new me.
That's it. All right. Well, um, I do not have the capacity to roll any lower than that, so I won't bother. All right. So you're making your way downtown, and you feel a weight on one of your antlers as you're walking.
Well, that's not the most unusual thing, actually. Primarily, it probably feels about the weight of Pip, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
But he also knows for a fact that Pip is probably not in town. Knows that. And the trouble he's discovered with sneak attacks of the small upon him is it's hard to see who's up there. It's just not a good field of vision. So, ruled out it's probably not Pip. Just gonna shake his head slightly and go like, hey?
There's kind of a fluttering of feathers kind of noise. And then this black raven with yellow eyes sort of leans down, like over into your field of view. Like you can feel that it's still holding onto your antler, but it's sort of just sort of leaning and looking at you upside down, and does another one of those wing flutters and then tilts its head to the side.
Oh. Oh, hey. Hey, you. You gonna tell me who you are yet?
There's a blink, blink, and it just stares at him.
It doesn't know. Well, yeah, you're welcome along for the ride, I guess. It's gonna continue on his way. I think he has his suspicions. Look, he's tried to talk with animals. Either that didn't work, or this person has a sense of humor and didn't answer. He's pretty sure it's one of the lichens. He just doesn't have a name to it. But if a lichen wants to hitch a ride occasionally and hang out, yeah, he's all for it. It's happened once or twice.
So you carry on, and you've still got this raven perched on you. And
It's very atmospheric.
It is a very
Enjoying
atmospheric. And you can feel it sort of. It's not quite shifting its weight. I suppose that's what you would call it. Like it feels like it's about to sort of take off and then just sort of sit. It's kind of just putting a little bit more weight and then a little less and then a little bit more weight. But you can feel that it hasn't actually let go. And then you can feel it sort of shuffle up to the end and then lean. And it feels really, really heavy suddenly and then not.
What would a roll for Gregory adjusting himself to accommodate these shifts.
I think
Because
that's
it has to be some adjusting on his part.
that's surely some sort of dexterity, I would say. Not necessarily a strength, because like strength. Well, I suppose if he was standing still, it'd be a neck strength. But because it's so,
He's on the move.
yeah.
Basically, like adjusting. Basically, like he'll be leaning to one side or like leaning a bit forward.
Let me think.
If we want to be funny, it's strength.
I'll let it be up to you. You can decide how funny you want it to be.
Yeah, we'll make it a strength. I feel like this kind of thing where if this raven kept it up for long enough, Craigory could be sore.
Yep. All right.
Okay, well, straight 7. That's just a 7.
All right. So this raven puts extra weight on the very end of one of your antlers, and you kind of almost fall. Like it wasn't lower than a 5, so you're not going to just completely go poof into the flagstones, but it's close. It's a dang close thing.
Tipping.
Yep. And like there's a tipping point, and then the raven kind of flutters off and lands on your other side as you sort of catch yourself.
Fucking seesaw motion, just every few steps, one way and the other. You know, this is the kind of thing where if you keep it up, I might not let you do this anymore, bud. Like, what if I put like those anti-bird spikes on there, huh? Ha! Yeah, I didn't think you'd like that.
Do you want to roll like a history or a nature?
Boom. I'm not history's +4, nature. Okay, they're both +4. You know what? He'll go for nature.
Mm-hmm.
And ooh.
23.
That's a 23.
Very nice. All right. So, maybe it's that 1 point off that natural 20 that is a split second, which lets you have that snarky response, and then you're like, wait a second. On which planet do ravens sound like that? That's not normal.
He's also pretty. He is like been 99% sure for this is not a normal raven. But then again, every other case of lichens he's seen, they fairly follow closely the rules of what they turn into.
Yeah, and like, so they'll sound like the animal they've turned into. And while sure the lichens might decide to mess with him occasionally, this is a longer stint of being catching a lift than most of them would. But yeah, this is not normal raven behavior. It's not normal raven sound. And also, now that you look at it, its eyes seem to be glowing a little bit. That's not normal for the lichens either.
Pulls up the spells. Do you have Identify on here? Do you have Identify prepared? He has Detect Magic, but he's already pretty fucking sure this thing is magical.
Well, Detect Magic gives you the school as well as just...
It does give you the school.
So that's like, not a stupid option. Just squint. Yeah.
Okay, well, you asked for it. Hold still. Casting Detect Magic. Maybe he'll be surprised.
Maybe. Alright, so as far as detect magic gives you, there is stuff like transmutation and whatnot, like the essences of that.
What he expected on that front, but
Yeah, but like it's not pure transmutation. It's like not like imitation transmutation, but it's related, but not that, if that makes sense. Like it's close enough that you go, okay, transmutation-ish, but that's not it necessarily. This is something innate, and not in the same way that a lichen changing shape is innate. Also, given Craigory's experiences, would he recognize divine magic from this?
I might roll Arcana on that one.
Alrighty.
Which, to be fair, his Arcana is very good.
He is a wizard, so you'd hope so.
Oh my god. Whis.
Did you roll something abhorrent?
He just crit failed.
I love that.
I mean, it's a 1 + 8, but a critical failure.
Oh, Craigory.
This is a weird fucking bird.
It is a weird bird. And like it is holding still after you asked it to, but it almost seems to be grinning at you, just a bit.
Mind coming down here a second? He's gonna hold out his arm.
Oh yeah, it'll do that. It'll hop down and land on his arm. Have another little bit of a flutter and another.
Ah! Directly in his face.
Yep.
Well, no, he'll add a guidance on it. He's just doing a general insight squint at Beard. Alright. 18 insight.
Alright.
Basically, he's just looking for, he's never ever gotten the sense that this is malicious at all, mischief, but just kind of like confirming that.
Oh yeah, mischief is definitely the name of the game. Like, the bird is not making any moves to like get away from you or like is not attacking you or anything. It's just trying to be a general pain in the butt, really, because it's sitting there, it sort of grins at you and then starts picking at your sleeve with its beak.
Well, you know, if you're not going to give me a name, that just means I have to name you myself, and right now I'm leaning towards Kara 2.
It does let out this caw that very distinctly sounds like a cackle.
Tui it is.
Oh, are you going to draw this out? No, I don't think you will.
Gregory started just walking again, this bird on his arm. He's like, I guess you're along for the morning errands. Hope you like shopping.
The raver will jump off his arm and take to the air again, and you can feel it sort of land on your antler just for another maybe 10 seconds or so before it takes off again. And then there's this flutter of wings around you that seems to get a lot bigger. So it's just behind your head, just out of your field of vision. And then it gets bigger and bigger, and then there's quite this really, really heavy sounding thud right behind your heels.
Spinning around.
You are looking at, well, that close. Kind of this sort of tan-coloured linen is right there in front of your nose as you are looking at someone's chest.
slowly looks up, and oh, he doesn't have to look this far up for. Okay. Oh dear. Oh.
Hi.
Mr. Allhallow, didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, it's a talent of mine. Also, no, that Mr. Nonsense, that's way weird. Craigory, we have not yet been properly acquainted.
I mean, I guess that's true, but also, I guess you took your sweet time about it?
Well, you haven't exactly made, efforts to come and introduce yourself to me either.
Well, uh, Korvits, look, I don't know, you seem like you're an important figure here. Is it just like every resident that comes up and offers a hello? I mean, maybe that's how it works. I do know Lynn is very fond of you. Talks about you a lot. Same as the Spookies.
I should hope so. I'm very well acquainted with all of them.
Yeah. Look, it is good to meet you. Hold out hand for handshake, falling back on what do I do in social situation.
Korvits is absolutely just grinning at Craigory, and he sticks his hand out. He actually sticks his right hand out to shake rather than his left. And you're welcome to maybe roll an insight or a perception on why that might be, should you want to.
Ooh. Very nice. That's going to be a 19.
Awesome. Yeah, so he sticks his hand out to shake, and you look at his left hand, and they are not the same. His right hand is very similar to Jacques, so it's bone, bigger, a bit bigger than Jacques' and much thicker bones than what he has, and it's got kind of these scorch marks in some of the phalanges, where some of his claymation material has actually been burnt away a little bit, but you can't see his wireframe through the claymation material. But his left hand seems to have very sharp, pointed steel claws on the fingertips, which look like they could do a fair bit of damage should he decide to stick them into something.
Or throw it willy-nilly into a handshake.
Yes, or that. But he will stick this hand out and shake, and it's a good handshake, but not the I am going to throw you around into a blur smear frames kind of handshake.
It is my pleasure. A long overdue conversation, I feel, given, well, I told Lynn I had no need for a shovel, and I stand by that, but, if you're going to have a very close relationship to my cleric, then I feel as though we need to at least be acquainted.
Yes, that's fair. Totally, yes. Haha. Man, these are still going. Yeah. Makes sense. She knows so many people.
That she does. I am not going to even attempt to introduce myself to everyone she knows. You're easy pickings, though, because you live here.
I live here, and we are close, so yeah. Logical. Easy target.
It's, Well, it's not like you've been avoiding me or anything, surely. So it's just a matter of,
No.
missed opportunities, perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, look, it was just suddenly you were here, and I was like, oh my god, that's the Pumpkin King. I thought that guy was dead. There was a whole thing about, like, it being a secret, and now he's here. And then you were getting Justin, and things kept on happening on both our sides, I guess, and now here we are. So, it's all's well that ends well. I'm glad you aren't dead.
Yeah, me too. Certainly makes things a little easier to, get things done when you're not proper dead. Undead is one thing, but dead, like, end of the line kind of dead. That's less conducive to a productive day.
Yep. Well, it is. Yeah, it is good to me because, I mean, out of all the things I was expecting, I was not expecting Lynn to go cleric.
Well, I know the kind of things that Lynn gets up to and is involved in. Unfortunately, that's what happens to protagonists, right? They get in all sorts of trouble. And, much as I would like to be able to swoop in at any given moment and, put my axe blade between the eyes of people who are bothering her and other people of my town, well, I can't do that. I would love to be able to do that, but I can't. So this is my way of, giving her a little helping hand. And, before I even got that far into the conversation, she's like, Warlock, no. No Warlock. I'm like, okay, yes ma'am. That's fine. Not a problem. Given this my first, attempt at making a Warlock, it wasn't even an attempt, it was an accident. But my first experience with a Warlock was a little bit, exciting, let's put it that way. I was more than happy to comply with that. No need to worry about that. Note to self, do not make warlocks with people who are unwell at the time. Wait until they're well. This isn't my advice to you, okay? If you are ever in that position, don't let them be sick at the time.
Eyebrows have been climbing higher and higher at that. It's like, I feel like Craigory he's probably heard disjointed snippets, and this extra disjointed snippet is not helping his context for how the hell that happened.
Yeah, Korvits is really good at just disjointed snippets. You can roll a history if you like.
And get a dirty 20.
They've just been progressively getting higher and higher.
This is still important person in Krieger's mind. He is paying attention.
Yeah. So Lynn absolutely would have mentioned something along these lines to Craigory. And because he's been in Halloween Town for a while, he also probably remembers there being this trail of pockmarks leading from, I think it was from the pumpkin patch to the manor. That sort of, they were only there for a little while before Kara was able to get rid of them. But there was this just trail of carnage leading from there to the manor. No one seemed particularly, worried about it, but it was distinctly there. It was very noticeable.
Once he'd learned that, the minimum knowledge that Gibbs was behind it, he just went, in his mind, that made sense. Okay. Gibbs is enough of an explanation.
Lol.
But I digress. So, what brings you out and about today?
Well, out and about is I mean, it's going to sound boring, but groceries, I guess. I'm not allowed in the kitchen, but I'm still gotta stock it, you know?
Well, I mean, if
And
you've
then
got to eat.
between Boomer and Network, all the eggs got used up.
Oh, that definitely sounds like a story and a half. Network is nothing if not a little ball of enthusiasm.
Yeah. And I don't know, is easily encouraged the right word? Easily excitable, exuberant.
All very excellent words for network. Though I'm not familiar with the other name.
That's my kid, who is also those things. So you can imagine when they're together.
Oh, wonderful. That sounds like a recipe for disaster, but, lighthearted disasters we're all about. Wonderful, alright.
So, yeah, that's just me off to get groceries, really.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
it can wait. It's not an emergency.
Oh, well, far be it for me to keep you from something important, so I'm just gonna tag along. Because, I have an abundance of time and lots of people in Halloween Town that I have yet to become acquainted with, so, you're my target for today. Also, I can't seem to get any gossip out of Lynn, so I'm hoping to get some gossip out of you.
What kind of gossip?
Well, it's not every day that Lynn hides her face in embarrassment, so I'm
Oh, that
darn
kind of
darn
gossip.
keen. Yeah, that kind of gossip. I'm darn keen to find out. Well, what you've done to her to make her so flustered. It's quite adorable, actually.
You know, that is just so funny because she has no problem being, I guess you could say she's the more demonstrative one usually. So this is just fantastic little teasing material. Thank you so much.
I'm happy to be of service.
But just kind of like spreads his arms like, this is the deal, this is the goods.
So this is the man, the myth, the legend. Yeah. I'm curious about what you've got going on here with your arm.
Oh, this, I melted it off accidentally.
Oh, well. Oh, obviously something you've quite handily come to terms with. To be able to say it that flippantly, I love that. All right, fair enough. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit ago. Like, it's happened before I met her, so it's just kind of been a fact of for like 3 years at this point.
Oh, well, there you go.
But I mean, the current hand is newer. Just gonna kind of like wave the fingers of the hard light hand.
Huh.
New
Yeah,
development, newer.
You were. All right. Well, it seems like you'll always have a nightlight on you.
Yep. And he's gonna make it change colors, run through the rainbow.
Hot damn! All right. So, you're the one who does all the lighting effect at parties, then.
Yeah. It turns out that's what happens when you're tinkerer for this. Also moonlights as a rave musician. I did not know that when I first asked him to do this.
That is incredible. Oh dear. All right. Well, I mean, I usually only go with prestidigitation for lighting effects, but there's a lot to be said for practical effects. I love that. I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was a fun surprise mode to discover.
Because all of a sudden the room turns pink. Oh dear. That's atmospheric.
Craigory laughs in the sense of you say that, but he's legitimately done that.
Excellent. Oh,
Turn on some music, set up your own mood lighting.
Ah, well, I bet I bet you're full of all sorts of talents apart from just that one.
Oh, I like to think so. I mean, wizardry, magic, reading books in old languages. He's going to set the hand color out of cycling the rainbow and just settle it on orange. Going to match it to Korvits.
Angling for some brownie points.
This is currently kind of a shovel talk. He's got to get the brownie points in.
Ah, well, yeah. I think she did mention that maybe you were a spellcaster, or maybe I picked it up from somewhere else. I forget a lot of the time. Alright, so, wizard was it?
Yeah, or Wizlock.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And, what's sort of magic to you, what takes your fancy? You may not know this, but I'm a little bit of a damp hand at the old, magic craft myself.
I did pick up that impression, yeah. But, honestly, a little bit of everything, but still, base and transmutation.
Oh, transmutation is a really good school. Very fond of that. Well, I mean, shape-shifting and stuff does actually come to me fairly naturally, as I'm sure you've noticed, but I'm a little bit more of this kind of magic.
And he snaps his fingers, and he's now got like this ball of not quite white hot, but still very, very hot fire, just sort of sitting in his palm.
Evocation.
It's a bit of fun. If you need anything burnt to a crisp or lightly toasted or anywhere in between, I'm your guy.
Yeah, it's, nothing wrong with a good, well-placed, well-intentioned fireball.
That's exactly right. You can get so much done with Fireball, although there's lots of different options when it comes to fire. Which makes me very happy. It means that we can get creative. Firestorm is also a lot of fun. Incendiary Cloud also. That one's really good.
Craig, who's very definitely not high enough level to even begin to poke at those. I believe it.
Yeah, and you mentioned languages. What languages are you familiar with?
Oh, well, that's actually going to be a bit of a list. Me tapping over to proficiencies. Krieger's going to start ticking things off on fingers. Because guess who has the linguist feat?
Nice.
It's going to be, common, obviously Grolix, and then the extra languages that are, what's the fucking word? Ticked off. We got Celestial, Abyssal, Primordial, and Yeti. Varying fluencies. Mostly for reading. The pronunciation, Ro could tell you that my Abyssal pronunciation, they could use some work.
Korvits is going to chuckle, and the next thing he says is in Abyssal.
Oh, well, I mean, it is a bit of a difficult language to get your mouth around.
And again, I read, not spoke it. Is said in Abyssal.
Well, that wasn't too bad. Sort of sounded like you were speaking through your left ear, but, you know, it, if you don't use it, it's hard to sort of grasp it. But that was a commendable effort. Well done, well done. Gosh, isn't the spelling in Abyssal a bitch and a half?
Yeah, it doesn't help the pronunciation rules.
It really doesn't. I don't know how native speakers of Abyssal learn. Maybe they just sort of inject it into their brains. That would make a lot of sense.
Well, being a native speaker kind of implies that you start with it or grow up with it, right?
I guess.
I think I know someone who, well, thinking about it, Abyssal probably is Lucille's first language. Huh. That's actually something I'll have to ask them about. Okay, I'm interested. Yeah, pen that for later. Especially since, like, that's a dialect. That's like the deep ocean. Primordial? Yeah, I think it's primordial, they said.
There are lots of different options in this wide world of ours, which is a bit of fun. I mean, I've only learned one language since I was made, and I am really bad at it. But we're working on it.
Okay.
But most of the
it?
other languages that I know were sort of just there, right up here in this gourd, right to start with.
What? Just off the... Oh, boo. Not fair, that's cheating.
It's not cheating. I didn't even have, like, you know, a childhood or anything to learn any of them organically. So, you know, they had to be downloaded into me on conception.
Okay. One of those arrived as is people. Got it.
Yep.
Got it. Versus me, a chump who had to have 3 different textbooks of the language open at once and cross-reference everything to try and... like 2 different dictionaries.
Well, if anything else, you gotta be commended for your dedication to learning it. It's not an easy one to pick up.
That was the appeal, honestly. That and the difficulty, and that's just where I had felt like the good shit was in the libraries. If I wanted to be able to get into those books, I need to be able to read them.
That's true.
And in some cases, steal them first, but...
Why would you have to steal from a library? Don't they let you borrow the books for free?
That's what I say! But... okay. Fair warning, you're stepping into an area here, but... Wizard guilds, Toontowns, pretty specifically, probably, to be honest. To get into their library in the first place, you need to be a member, right? You need to join the guild. Okay. But then even when I got in there, it turned out it felt like half the place was restricted further anyway. So yes, I did have to borrow books illegally.
An exclusive club. Fun.
Yeah, exclusive in the exclusive. It was terrible. I made frequent complaints. They were never heard.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Or, heard and thrown in the trash, whichever.
Well, I mean, same result either way. I take it you've already explored our educational options here locally, though.
Yeah, I mean, I have been poking a bit at Rose University. I need to do that more, honestly. Things have calmed down enough, honestly, that there's the time and the brain space to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have that
There's
as
gotta-
an open option.
Yeah, and there's probably actually way more resources on those languages here than there ever were in Toontown, because quite frankly, I don't think the head wizard there... It felt like big pickings at the time. I don't actually think it was.
Well, I suppose it's all a matter of perspective. They might have thought they had the biggest library ever, but, I've seen some pretty dang big libraries in my time.
Like, certain areas they focused in on, and, I guess that's what happens when you have a paladin multi-class leading your people. There's some subjects that either don't get a lot of attention or maybe get one particular side focused on, so to speak.
Ah, yes. History is often written by the victors. And, I suppose that can apply to other fields of study as well, not just history.
I mean, you also kind of are history. You're living history right here.
Well, to a point, yeah. There's a fairly significant gap that I missed out on, but from the first early days of the current era, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's my point. There aren't a lot of people who will have your experiences in that time. And I never did get a clear number from Jacques when he kind of explained a bit what went down, but he's been mayor a long time.
Jacques took over when I started my extended leave of absence.
Yeah.
And he's done an excellent job at it.
I've only been here for a bit, but yeah, he has.
I would like to wonder what kind of place this would be had I not gone on an extended leave of absence, but that is a timeline that we just do not have. But, no, Jacques has done a good job. Jacques and Asclepius and the whole council. I have been, well, it's been a year now, just over a year since I've come back. And, every day I find another little thing going, oh, that's new. I like it. I don't think there's been a single thing that I've discovered since coming back that I haven't liked. Well, that's a lie. That is absolutely a lie. But those things I am choosing to ignore for the sake of the conversation. Yeah, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience seeing what's different and where things have improved. Kicking myself for not having some of these ideas 200 years ago. Like, my gosh, why didn't I think of that?
Am I allowed to pry about the things that aren't satisfactory?
You're allowed to do whatever you like, Craigory. Whether or not I answer you is gonna depend on how convincing you can be.
He does brighten at the you can do whatever you like, and you know what? Just for fucking funsies. He does have a fun persuasion stat. I jinxed myself. I jinxed myself. A +6 does not help when the base roll is a 3.
Oh, dear.
But he is also going to tap guidance on that.
Okay.
And only get a 1. It's...
Average.
Basically, he's just doing his best impression of, Boomer's big please eyes. Combining what he's seen out of Boomer and Lucille, honestly.
Unfortunately, the old puppy dog guys is not an effective technique. I used to work with children, and actually I do now again. So I have a built-in immunity to that bullshit, sorry. Good effort, though.
Snaps his fingers. Not cute enough. Ah, well. It works on Lynn sometimes.
Yeah, but, Lynn is Lynn. And Lynn has some biases against you as well, so... Against is the wrong word. With you. Some biases. You're more inclined. I'm a bard.
She
I know
has
how words work.
just a little weak spot. Just a little.
Just a smidge. A tiny little chink in the armor, yes.
A slight fondness.
Ah, well, use it to your advantage, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, I do a bit.
Only for, noble causes, of course. Never for mischief.
Best reasons, yeah.
So I have to ask why you're not allowed to cook. I think you mentioned that before. Why are you not allowed in the kitchen apart from stocking it?
I would like to preface this by saying that I would argue that I'm not a bad cook.
Okay, that is deeply encouraging. Go on.
I am an average middling cook, but there have been instances where that has dipped to inedible and dangerous.
Wow. Okay. So, who did you knock for 6 with food poisoning then, huh?
Well, the first time was my aunt. She is a professional baker. Had to know that what I'd put on the table was terrible, but was a champ and ate it anyway. But also,
Aw.
being a bard, had healing at her fingertips.
Wow. That's good. Oh, good on her. Gotta put on a brave face for the kids. Sometimes it's just what
Yeah.
you gotta do.
But kind of more relevantly, there's been some particularly magical mishaps with me and food. So, for the benefit of everyone, quite frankly, it's better that I don't accidentally make stuff that becomes mobile.
Korvits is looking at you with a raised eyebrow expression. He's like, I'm sorry, what?
I don't suppose you've heard of, say, a giant lime jello wandering inkwell. Is that news to you?
That's news to me. I mean, I've only left Halloween Town since coming back a small handful of times, and well, the furthest away from town I got, I was not exactly going on tour of Ankwell. It was a long-distance trip. So no, I've not heard of a mobile jelly moving across the... You're gonna have to give me some details, Craigory.
One day, I felt like Jello, and then a blink and a cast and a whoops later, it was the size of a rather large mansion. I know this for objective fact because it proceeded to engulf a giant mansion along the way. And that was kind of how I met Lynn. It's a lead up.
How in the goddamn did you make it big and mobile? Like, I've never heard of magic like that before.
So, step one, enlarge, reduce, but bad.
Uh-huh.
Step two, I mean, step 2 is just bad kitchen safety. That's, you know, this is not how I melted my arm off, to be clear. That was something else entirely.
Right, okay, so you're a safety third kind of guy. Gotcha. I'm still
I
failing
am
to
probably
pick up...
wanted by OSHA.
I'm still trying to, get the connection between lack of safety and moving jello creature here.
I mean, I guess this is also probably just relevant to you, considering I live in your town now, and this is a whole thing currently. Turns out what I'm made of, my ink, has some weird properties, and due to a little accidental slicey dicey on myself, it got in the jello, and it turns out that's kind of why.
Ha!
So now that we've figured that out, you can imagine why I'm generally not allowed in the kitchen when there's active cooking going on.
Right! Okay! That's some interesting properties to have in your ink. Cool.
Yeah, that was a wild discovery.
Yeah, I bet it would have been. Which, you would have had to have some repeat performances in order to figure that out.
Only twice. There were only 2 instances.
So you have your Jello instance, and then one after that.
Yeah, but that one got taken care of pretty much immediately. Lucille ate it.
Alright. No, terrible side effects on their part, I hope?
She has what you might call a bit of a stomach of steel.
Splendid. That's what we like. Alright, well, okay. If we ever need, monster food, you're the guy to go to.
I can certainly advise.
Oh my gosh. Is Craigory going to tell Korvits of the other properties of his monster food or not?
Feeling debating about just like, on one hand, it's like, is it any of his business? Then first he goes, well, is it any of his business? And he goes, well, yeah, it actually kind of is. A little bit. He's just gonna kind of like shuffle on his feet as they're going, just like, I don't know, 200 years ago, I guess that would have been pretty soon, pretty fresh after the last erasure, huh?
Well, that was a segue and a half, but, yeah. Well, I think it was maybe, 7 months? 6 or 7 months after the erasure swept through here. Something like that.
Oh, wow, okay. Huh. Anyway, I just say that because it feels to me like 6 or 7 months after erasure, there probably weren't any, I don't know, say, thaumativores running around, so,
I'm actually just going
I don't
to
know
do a
if you've
quick
met Chateau.
arcana.
Yeah.
Good thing your arcana is pretty dang high, sir. So that's a 25.
I can't say that they were especially common back in the day. No.
Well, it turns... He already sits an inch... The segue is kind of this. Look, another... So, Gelosity, the Jello, she's a bit like Chateau. I don't know if you've met Chateau.
Probably not.
No.
Well, when you get around her, she, as I understand it, helps out a lot at the university with Ro. But, she's a thaumaphore, so is Gelosity, except the difference is Chateau, I think, sounds like was engineered and kind of on purpose. Gelosity, well, it feels kind of mean to say she was an accident, but I did not mean to bleed on some gelatin and make a thaumaphore.
Korvits is doing prayer hands.
Okay, let me get this right. Not only, if you bleed on stuff, do you bring it to life in some sort of weird magical imbuement sort of process, but the thing that you create also is a thermivore.
To my understanding, there's a few other conditions that come together to specifically make that instance. So, if I had a nickel for every time it's happened, I'd only have 2. But it is wild that it happened twice.
Right. Well, shit.
Yeah. So, I don't cook in the kitchen anymore, and that's just kind of you understand why, like, I don't just kind of come out and say it, right? But also, it's part of the reason why I live here. So it is kind of a bit your business.
I see. Wow, this is good to know. Right? Okay. Awesome. Right. Holy shit! Wow, that's sure one hell of a property
Korvits,
to
hey,
have.
how was it? How was it to discover that you're a god? I mean, I got the impression that was news to you. So yeah.
Well, I mean, well, frankly, I did actually have to be told by Aeon, God of Time, because, well, when I came back, my magic was going bonkers, and I had no idea why. And then Aeon's coming along going, hey, you're actually a god, and that's why, dumbass. Not in quite that many words. It was only a handful more than that, though. But yes, it was in fact news to me at the time. I'm still getting used to it. It's been about 12 months. Hey, maybe I should put it in a book. People believe things that are in books. That might be a less pretentious way of telling people about that.
Here's my autobiography.
No, not that kind of bullshit. Like they have books on gods. Just, get a new page, stick it in there. There you go. Perfect.
Staple it in. I mean, like, editions come out. So, yeah.
It's not the most ridiculous idea I've ever had.
Okay, what are your ridiculous ideas then?
Oh, well. None of them were that recent. Well, depends on what you quantify as a ridiculous idea.
Gonna, like, fold his arm over himself, like, raise an eyebrow. I mean, well, actually, I don't really know what you've been up to since you got here, so I can't really accuse you of anything.
Plausible deniability. Perfect!
All I gotta do is talk to Lynn, and I'm sure she will spill lots of dirt. Or, I'll walk over to Jacques, like, even longer backlog.
Oh, far out. No, please, I'm begging you, don't do that. Jax has so much dirt that he could make a garden.
And he would just love to spill it, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. So I'm kind of, forbidding you from doing that.
Well, I guess then by extension, you can't go to Lynn for dirt about me.
She didn't want to give me dirt anyway, so, you know.
Really?
Yep, second you were brought up, she's like, no, we're taking it slow, I'm not having this conversation.
Ah. Oh, wild to me that she's like embarrassed? Huh.
I
I
don't know.
tease her about that.
I don't know, it doesn't strike me as the kind of thing that she's got a whole lot of experience in.
I mean, true. True. And like, just not wrong. Taking it slow. Although I had been thinking, okay, here's a good one. We took it so slow that I thought we were a thing and taking it slow before she realized that we could be a thing, if that makes sense.
Aww. Oh, bless.
I thought we were just, like, keeping on the down low.
Oh, heck. And you hadn't had a conversation about it, you're just assuming.
Well, person can assume and think certain things when there's I love yous being thrown around pretty much daily, or like, you know, little forehead smooches, or she invites you out on a case where you are going to be fake married and then is kind of affection is ramped up after. Like a man can attempt to read some clues.
Ha! Does seem like she was giving off some signals. Yeah. Maybe she doesn't know how to flirt.
Could have fooled me at points.
Oh, sounds like she did. But
I mean,
sounds like it was genuine.
yeah. She won't ever show you this, and I don't have the means to dig it up, but once she did sort of catch on there, it still exists, I'm sure. There is a wizard wooing board.
Oh, Lynn! I've seen some of the boards in her house. Oh,
So you
that...
know how detailed those are.
Oh, gosh. Lynn Hunt. That's so cute. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. No, I'm
She is very cute.
I'm gonna put the knowledge of that in my back pocket. That's adorable. And what about you? Have you got a monkey wooing technique, or you know, what do you do to make her feel special?
Ugh. I mean, it largely boils down to, I guess you could call it accessories. Just make her life easier. Do things for her, you know? Make her feel appreciated. She does a lot for me and for everyone. Get her to rest, you know?
Yeah. Wow, she doesn't strike me as the kind of person who, really expects a whole bunch of gratitude back, no matter how deserving she is of it. When I was first, making myself acquainted with Miss Stagehand, I had to tell her on no circumstances was she to downplay the amount of gratitude I had for her actions, because, it was quite a lot. Even before she had a hand in hauling my sorry ass out of whatever the hell I was in, she had done some things that I was inherently and endlessly grateful for, and she's like, oh, no gratitude needed. I'm like, fuck off, yes it is. So, take this as a personal mission from the patron god of the place you live to you. Craigory that don't let her not accept gratitude when gratitude is due.
Gratitude is always due.
Well, guess you're on duty all the time then, 24/7.
Exactly. Yeah, she's something. She's special.
She is. I'm glad to know her.
Yeah. Feel like things could have turned out really different for both of us without her.
Yeah. Well, it's not exactly a thing I'd like to entertain the thought of. A world with Lynn in it is definitely a better world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm wondering if you feel as though I have shovel talked you adequately or not.
I mean, I'll take it. This is a gentler one than being lured into a giant cathedral and getting semi-ambushed by her stagehand cousin. And I've heard some horror stories of shovel talks, so you know what? Being occasionally bothered by a raven who turns out to be the divine god of your new residence is actually pretty good.
Sure as hell is not a sentence most people could say with any honesty.
Kind of Halloween Town for you, though.
That's true. Well, even though I'm a bit late to say it, 'cause you've been here a while. Welcome to Halloween Town. Glad to have you.
You're not too late, because I've been staying here for a while now, but I probably wouldn't have considered myself like a permanent resident until kind of recently.
Well, I'm glad we made a good impression. We're glad to have you. And just like everybody else, if you need me, you're welcome to come and ask anytime. Plenty of people know how to find me.
Just hold up a bit of birdseed. Sure to get your attention.
Honestly, you do better with marshmallows.
Okay, got it.
Still, it's probably easier to just walk up to me and say, "Hey, could I get your help with something?" Rather than going, "Here, pretty birdie, I've got marshmallows." That's insulting.
But you're not denying that it'd work.
I'm not confirming that it would work. But I am confirming I would take your marshmallows regardless. I just may kick your ass as well.
I was about to reflexively say I'd like to see you try it, but you would do that.
Damn right I would.
Well. Good shovel talk.
Now look at that. Only small threats of physical harm, and that's not even got anything to do with Lynn.
Really, it's kind of nothing in the grand scheme of things. I've been threatened harder than that.
I don't think there'd be any problems with Lynn kicking your ass if you did the wrong thing. Besides, I already supercharged her with her cleric magic, so, it's by extension me as well.
Craigory and me has just remembered the supercharging, just immediately thought to networks expansion.
Well, that kind
Thanks
of
for the
was
wizard
his
tower,
fault.
by the way.
Hey, look, I cannot take any credit for that. I wish I could
You
take
allowed the
credit for that.
means. You allowed the means for there to be a wizard tower, and Ryan and I are very grateful for that.
I could hear the delighted squealing from halfway across town. It was quite nice. But
Yeah.
no, I'm glad. Glad she's got you.
Yeah. Glad to be here.
Suppose I should leave you to get on with your errands. Can't have the stagehand's requiem going foodless or anything.
Well, you're still welcome to tag along.
Ha! Well, sure. I haven't done groceries like ever, so this will be a novel experience. Why not? Lead the way.
Craigory Korvits on the perilous and fraught journeys of grocery shopping.
It's gonna
There
be
is, in fact, a mini duel to get to the eggs. I don't know. There's a final carton left or something.
Korvit's getting absolutely the wrong impression on what grocery shopping is
Absolutely
like.
the wrong impression, and the tension is heightened because it's trying to get those without breaking any of them.
Oh my gosh.
It absolutely involves Craigory, after physically tackling someone, carefully somersaulting with the eggs cushioning with his body so they hopefully don't break, and then tossing in the air yelling for Korvits to catch in Raven form.
Oh my goodness gracious me. Alright. Just for shiggles, I'm gonna roll him a something to catch that.
Sleight of claw?
Yeah, alright. We can work with that.
This is both to catch and to not break any eggs.
That's a 30. He's
Those
good.
eggs are pristine.
Yep. They were put in their grocery trolley so delicately, and Korvits is just sitting on the handle of the trolley looking very proud of himself.
I've been half imagining Korvits continuing to fly off and Craigory having to reassure the shopkeeper, no, it's not stealing. Look, I'm paying right now.
Everyone's like, Craigory, where did you get a familiar?
Oh, you know. Today?
Oh my goodness. That's so funny.
Korvit's beak tapping on the window. Egg delivery.
Yes. Oh boy. That was so fun.
Success.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you for playing.
Korvits. New member of Halloween Town met.
Yay! He loves making
Kinda
new
weird,
friends.
but
He loves making new friends. Thank you so much for playing with me, Kraken. I had a wonderful time.
thank you. Ah, man. Alright, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Bye.